Buongiorno baddies, welcome back to another video. Today's first question is, when the Slowpoke Marathon began, the ratio of runners to joggers was 2 to 19. If 4,200 participants began the race, each either a runner or a jogger, but not both, and 500 joggers dropped out of the race, but all the rest of the participants finished, then what was the ratio of runners to joggers among those who finished the race? To make our jobs easier, we are going to first find out how many how many runners there are. In order. I love how the name is just Slowpoke Marathon though, like for real. Since it is a smaller number of runners to joggers, significantly, we're gonna calculate how many joggers there are and then subtract that from the total 4,200 participants to find out how many runners there are, and then subtract that from the 4,200 participants to find out how many joggers there are. So since there are 2 plus 19 parts in total, there are 21 parts, and 2 parts of them are joggers. Are runners. I literally cannot get those two straight. Anyway, we're going to now multiply. We're going to simplify. We're going to do all that fying. This is 400. So there are 400 runners, which also means that there are 3,800 joggers. So taking that into consideration, since 500 joggers dropped out of the race, but all the rest of their participants finished, which means that none of the runners dropped out, which I don't know what they're doing here, but who cares? That means that there are 3,300 joggers still left in the race. And since we still have the same amount of runners because none of the runners dropped out, we have this ratio, except we can still simplify. So we simplify it and we get a 4 to 33 ratio. Alrighty, moving on to problem number 2. Buses from Dallas to Houston leave every hour on the hour. Buses from Houston to Dallas leave every hour on the half hour. The trip from one city to the other takes 5 hours. Assuming the buses travel on the same highway, how many Dallas-bound buses does a Houston-bound bus pass on the highway, not in the station? So pretending our road is a 2D line, I have not studied world geography and world cultures yet, so we're just going to say this side is Dallas and this side is Houston. Just for because I don't know, dude. And we are following the adventure of a Houston-bound bus, which means that they are starting from the Dallas station. So the thing I've highlighted in green is where we're starting. So since the journey itself takes 5 hours, we have to think of it like this, okay? Before the Houston-bound bus takes off, so before our goody old bus here takes off, since the Houston buses are on loop, they're not waiting for the Dallas, since the Dallas-bound buses are on loop, they're not going to wait for the Houston-bound bus to leave, because there's already going to be Dallas-bound buses on the road before the Houston-bound bus takes off. So since they're leaving every hour on the half hour, that means that there's already going to be 5 buses on the road. And those 5 buses, this good old Houston-bound bus is definitely going to meet them because they're literally traveling on the same highway, and they haven't gotten to the station yet either. So before the the Houston-bound bus leaves, there's already going to be 5 buses on the road that the Houston-bound bus is definitely going to pass. And since the journey itself is taking 5 hours, and these are only the buses that have left before the Houston-bound bus takes off from the station. And since the journey is taking 5 hours, that means that these Dallas-bound buses, they're going to send out more. So, but once this Dallas-bound bus passes all these good old buses, there's going to be more Houston-bound buses. So there's going to be more Dallas-bound buses coming in. And if they're leaving from Houston to Dallas every hour on the half hour, they're going to send out one every hour, which basically means that there's going to be 5 more Dallas-bound buses on the road, while the Houston-bound bus has already taken off. So, in total, what I'm saying basically is there's going to be 5 buses that have left before the Houston-bound bus, and then 5 buses that have left after the Houston-bound bus, that they're all going to pass. So in total, there's going to be 10 buses that the Houston-bound bus is going to pass. 10 buses. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned something new. I will see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.